Morning, guys. Good morning. It's Monday. Definitely a better Monday than the past 2 Mondays, so I'm happy about that. Gonna go through all the games here. Did not watch every single play of every single game, obviously, and didn't get to see a couple of games. I was hyper focused on the Colts and the Saints early, and then the Ravens game. Got a lot of the Lions Cardinals game, and then I watched the whole Chiefs game. So I'll give my thoughts, but some of these other games, I frankly haven't had a chance to dive into it. So I'll be getting to them more in detail as the week goes on. Gonna get this out of the way because I just cannot believe that the Orioles blew that game on Saturday. I thought everything was headed in the right direction. I'm sure everybody felt the same way. Gunner gets the double. We don't score. Then we lay an egg yesterday. And yeah, I need us to go 5-1 to get my over bet. I had 90.5 for the Orioles. The division's over with. Um, God, it's just deflating, deflating, deflating. Oh boy. So definitely not going to harp on it too much this week because I'm going to try to get my mind right the way the Orioles are for hopefully the playoffs and not just harp on, losing these future bets, which I know it sucks, obviously. And I'm sure most people listening had some future bets with the Orioles. And that's why this season became so frustrating because you're like, you're just going to collapse here. Now we're not going to win the division. So not fun stuff there. It just is what it is. Not going to harp on negative stuff. It's not an Orioles podcast. It's a gambling podcast. And start off doing the Orioles. I'm glad I got out of the betting on the Orioles business when I did. I think I finished like 6 bets under 500, and it would have gotten a lot worse. They haven't been able to hit the ball. But Westberg's back. Arias is back. Maybe they'll get hot here at the right time. So anyway, we'll do that as the week goes on. Let's go through all these games, and if anything jumps out, and I'll talk about the Packers Titans. We'll start there. I did not see very much of this game. I knew that this Titans team will kill you. If you bet on the Titans any of these 3 weeks, you're just dying inside. Heartbreaking losses the first 2 weeks. Then they arguably play the worst. I mean, apologies to the Raiders yesterday. Like maybe they played the worst, but what a horrible game for the Titans. They lose Malik Willis and the Packers. I mean, man, now they got a competent backup. They just get quarterbacks right in Green Bay. I mean, my whole life, I guess everybody's whole life, it's just the Packers have good quarterbacks. And here goes Malik Willis. Packers 2-1. I knew to stay away from this Broncos Bucks game. I didn't know it was going to go down like that. Broncos just dominate Tampa from the get go. It felt like a good spot to take the Broncos because Tampa coming off the emotional win against Detroit, and it's hard to get up every single week. I did not watch much of that game, so I'm looking forward to see exactly how good Bo Nix was, but they certainly win the game convincingly. Eagles Saints. Uh, Worst game of the day, most annoying game of the day, most boring game of the day. If you weren't betting on it, 3-0 at halftime. Saints 3-0 the whole game. It's a 4th and 1 on the Eagles 20 in the fourth quarter. Saints could have kicked a field goal to go up 6-0. I don't blame them for going for it. I don't have time to go through Sirianni's bad decisions. This Eagles coach, cannot wait to bet the Bucks next week against the Eagles. Cannot wait. But anyway, Saints they don't kick the field goal. They settle. They try to go for it. They don't get it. And then Barkley on the next possession has like some 70-yard run. Now the Eagles are up 7-3. Fast forward, and the Saints go on a game-winning drive, and they missed the 2-point conversion, but they're up 12-7, and they got a chance to win the game. And it's 3rd and 16 for the Eagles, and they have no passing game. They have no offense. They have nothing going for them. They run some sort of here you go, buddy. They run some sort of crossing route for like a 5-yard gain, but the Saints linebackers and safety run into each other, and that's all she wrote. Dallas Goedert, the tight end, just races down the field for 80 yards. Eagles get in the end zone. Saints are going to get a chance to come back and at least force this game to overtime. And then Derek Carr does what Derek Carr does, which makes a throw where you're like, why are you doing that? Throws an interception, game's over. I was right about the Eagles offense. I'm still right about the Eagles. This Eagles team sucks. I'm definitely betting the Bucks next week. Steelers Chargers. I saw enough of this game to be like, thank God I didn't bet the Chargers because it really played out the way I thought it would, which is that Steelers defense is so it's everything we want this Ravens defense to be. They close games. They rush the quarterback really well. Tough environment to play. Chargers were right there until they weren't. Got to give Fields credit. I don't know if the Steelers team's making the playoffs. I'm not sold on it yet. I don't think you can always win this way. But TJ Watt, best player on defense in the whole league, just wreaking havoc. They beat the Chargers 20-10. Another game I was right about that I didn't bet, which was don't bet the Browns. Like, just don't do it. Just if you want to bet the Browns when they're an underdog or you're getting value, but not when they're 6-point favorites. They somehow made the Giants look really competent, really good. Giants play Cowboys on Thursday. That should be a really interesting game to see where those teams are at. But yeah, the Browns lose Myles Garrett. Browns just, man, Giants just jumped on them and then they played smart. I didn't see a ton of the game, but it wasn't super competitive. The Giants had them the whole time and they get the win. Vikings Texans did not see any of this game. This was a game that, because it was a blowout early and other things were going on, just never got a chance to see it. So I can't speak too much about it, but I knew I didn't want to bet the Texans because there are just too many penalties, too many funny things. And this Vikings team feels great about themselves. They're rolling. Darnold's been 3-0 before, but now with a much better coach and Justin Jefferson, Vikings get the win. I'm going to do the Colts game in a second. Actually, no, we'll do the Colts game now. So the Colts, lucky, it's definitely a 50-50 game. Like, after that game's over, I know the Colts were winning 21-9 and the Bears got a touchdown and make it 21-16. But if you watch the game, the Colts are up 7-0 at halftime. And Anthony Richardson, it's like he reminds me when he's throwing the football, like, after you do like a powerlifting session at the gym, and then all of a sudden you're like jacked up and you throw a football and it's coming in way too hard. It's like Anthony Richardson's lifting, like bench pressing before he comes out there. He throws the ball so hard, and a couple of his throws are so bad that I don't know what I really don't know what I would do if I could take back my Colts bets for the whole year, because he's going to get better. Uh, I just don't know if this is the worst or it's going to last another half a season where he makes play after play where you're like, man, that's just, I don't think it's dumb. I think he's just really raw. I don't think he's a great natural thrower of the football. I think he's just so strong. But goodness gracious, Colts get out of there. Colts defense though, fantastic. Biggest improvement from last week as the Packers just had their way. This Bears team, I said before the year, I was not buying the Bears. If you don't build out your offensive line, nothing else matters. Bears, they don't call plays very well. Caleb Williams is very emotional. Glad I was on the Colts yesterday as they get the win. Excuse me. And then 4 o'clock games, the resurgence of Andy Dalton. They play the Bengals next week at home, the Panthers. Be curious to see how that plays out. I didn't realize this until this morning when I heard somebody mention it. But Marvin Lewis, the Raiders defensive coordinator, I forgot he's the defensive coordinator over there, and he coached Andy Dalton for 100 years, and Andy Dalton's just smoking him yesterday. Panthers, so feel bad for Bryce Young. I mean, nobody, I can't imagine was rooting for Andy Dalton to light it up like he did. Feels like Bryce Young needs to go to LA or something, go to the Rams, be Stafford's backup, and then take over there, because something is just not right in Carolina. And now they can't go back to him. Dalton puts up 36 points. They smoke the Raiders. This Raiders team is not very good. I think the Ravens are going to look back on the year and be like, did we really lose to the Raiders at home? Kind of like how we lost to the Giants the other year. Well, actually, no, the Giants made the playoffs that year. But yeah, Raiders are not very good. Seahawks, easiest game of the day. I even said in the thing, it felt too easy. That's just because I'm really high on the Seahawks, and I guess they felt like they couldn't make this number 6. Couldn't make the number anything they wanted. The Dolphins had no chance. Dolphins got shut out. They only got 3 points because Geno threw an interception on their own like 4 or 5 yard line. The Dolphins had a million penalties. Seahawks got beat up though. They got a bunch of injuries. They go to Detroit on Monday night. That'll be a really interesting test for Mike McDonald and company. But the Seahawks dominate. They get the 3-0. That's the thing I've been the most right about to start the year. Yeah, the Seahawks are undefeated. The Vikings are undefeated. The Steelers are undefeated. Crazy. Crazy. But Seahawks got to beat Skylar Thompson, and then he got hurt. And Tim Boyle. Man, I would love to be Tim Boyle's agent. I don't know how he stays in the league, but he's always in the league and he's always playing somehow, some way. He's always in there. Seahawks just roll. They roll. They roll. They roll. Lions, Cardinals. The I, I don't know. There's so many bad referee things that happened throughout the game, throughout the week, but this one was probably the worst. As the first half is winding down, Lions are up 13-7. They snap the ball with 2 minutes and 1 second left, and Goff throws an interception. It's a pick six. Cardinals are rolling, and then they say that the play doesn't count because it hit the 2 minute warning. And that was it. Cardinals could never get out of their own way after that. They played really good defense. I thought my bet was going to be wrong because the Lions went right down the field and scored. Then they had 13 at halftime. I need them to get under 27 and a half. And yeah, they scored the first touchdown of the second half. Then the Cardinals defense really put the clamps on them. Cardinals are good. They've had a tough schedule. They played the Rams, they played the Lions, they played the Bills. Cardinals are a pretty good team. I give the Lions a lot of credit for winning that game. I don't believe in this Lions offense, though. I think there's a lot to be desired with Goff right this second. Maybe the film is out, watching the Lions for the past couple of years. They're defending them better, but they closed the game out, so you got to give them credit. Did not see any of the of the Rams 49ers game. Was watching the Ravens game the entire time, and then had the Cardinals on my other TV, but I did not see any of that. I knew to fade the 49ers before the year because it's too many weird things and with one team going into the season. I cannot believe the Rams pulled it off. I'm looking forward to watching to see how they did it. Rams get the win. Rams are my pick to be the 1 seed in the NFC, and then they had all these injuries. But that's a huge win. I think that might be the type of win that can propel them. Maybe they build out the rest of their depth chart and some guys step up until Puka and Cooper come back. And then the Rams will be really dangerous at the end of the year. So, all right, that's the recap on all the games. The Ravens. All right, so I always feel guilty when I break down the Ravens because I follow a handful of Ravens folks that actually break down the tape and watch the all 22 and interview all the players and the coaches. So sometimes I feel like, man, I listen a lot more than I just blab about my opinion with the Ravens. I watch the game, and then if you don't see the all 22 tape when you're watching on television, there's a lot of things that you're just guessing. And it's because it's the Ravens, my favorite team, been following them. I like to really be informed. So with that caveat, my analysis of the game yesterday is it's all Justin Tucker's fault. It's all Justin Tucker's fault / we can't stop things once one bad thing happens. I work with kids, and it's so easy to identify that this kid's going to have a good day or a bad day within the first 10 to 15 minutes of the day, right? You can just tell this particular kid, if he starts off with a bad morning, it's all hell's going to break loose. If he doesn't get his special toy, his special whatever, that's how the Ravens, they're like a petulant child when things go the wrong way. It's like Tucker misses a field goal, that's it. We're just going to shut it down. Our brain stops working. Our feet go slower. All of a sudden, the Ravens turn into an incompetent football team, and you don't even know what's happening. You can feel, but you're like, I don't understand why guys are just wide open. Does Harbaugh just insist that we play prevent defense? I don't think so, but at the same time, that's what it looks like. And one bad thing happens, two bad things happen, 100 bad things happen, and now we need Zay Flowers to get open, which he does, and Lamar makes a great pass, and the game's over. But if he doesn't, the Cowboys are going to come down and score. Everybody can feel it. We couldn't stop them, and there's nobody anywhere near these guys, which makes it even worse. It's the same thing that happened with the Raiders, where you're like, okay, I can't see the entire field because I'm watching it on camera. Why is there nobody near these receivers? What is happening here at the end of the game? And yeah, if Tucker, I don't know. I said this last week. He's not a nice guy off the field. There's a ton of evidence, anecdotal, but whatever. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he's spending way too much time in the mirror. I don't know if he's eating too much Royal Farms chicken. He's getting to the point where he's becoming a liability because it's too many of them. And if he didn't have his pedigree, then we would really be yelling about it. But at some point, it's what have you done for me lately as a kicker? I don't have very much loyalty to a kicker. It just is what it is. You got to make that field goal. It's 46 yards, not even close, really. And then you watch Aubrey. the best kicker in the NFL, bang a 65, 66 or whatever to start the season, to start the game yesterday. Then he does a perfect kick on a onside kick. Just disappointed in Tucker. A little hyperbole there, but at the same time, make your freaking field goals here. Like, let's go. That would have put us up 31-6, would have put the clamps on it. Instead, 28-6. And it's like we just start feeling sorry for ourselves collectively, and we can't stop it. We get the win. Nobody feels good about it. There's no Ravens fan that feels good. You can talk yourself into feeling like satisfied or whatever, but feel good about it. You got to go back and watch the first three quarters and be like, all right, I feel great now. Like, we're the best team in football. We are just rolling. The first couple of plays were amazing. It looked like the 2019 Ravens. Charlie Collar's in the game. I saw Ricard a lot more often. We'll see what the snap count was. I think that will come out later this afternoon. But yeah, it's super impressive. And then the collapse. So they hold on. They get Buffalo next week on Sunday night. That should be nothing short of fascinating. Buffalo plays Jacksonville tonight, and the Commanders play the Bengals. We get two Monday Night Football games for some reason. It still makes no sense to anybody, but we do. We get two football games, one at 7. I think the Jags are at 7, and then the Bengals are at 8, I believe. So we got two football games tonight. I like both underdogs at first glance. I'll see how I feel when we get closer to kickoff, but definitely not taking the Bengals. That was no way. Way too many points. I know they haven't won. They want to win. Obviously, they're 0-2, but I haven't seen enough from the Bengals to give 7.5. And Buffalo is I swear I cannot get Buffalo right no matter what I do in the Josh Allen years. Just do not have a good handle on the Bills. I used to love the Bills as a kid, and then I'm not the biggest Josh Allen fan in the world because he does a lot of dumb things, but yet he's been much more efficient since the second half of last year into this year. Jaguars have terrible coaching. It's probably a stay away game for me. But I'll have bets out, see what happens with as the day progresses. Definitely going to attack. Excuse me, the Commanders Bengals game. And I wrote in my recap this morning that yeah, I get the records aren't pretty. It's not exciting at the moment to be like, oh, everybody's under 500, but it's early in the year, and I do feel good. I feel like I have two guys on board that are helpful, even if we're not following their picks blindly. They're really spending a lot of time, and trust me, I've had a handful of other people that want to get on board, but if they're not able to talk freely off the cuff and be able to give their opinions on what's going on, or they want to sell something, it's not the easiest in the world to just bring somebody on board. So I still would like to bring on one or two more people, but I also don't want to just bring somebody on to bring them on. So I hope that makes sense. Hope everybody's has a good day. And like I said in the little message, hopefully some of the props you had for Derrick Henry paid off. Obviously, that was an easy win there. And yeah, JMart went 5-1 on his prop bets yesterday. And yeah, last game, I'm sorry, I was about to get out of here. The Chiefs Falcons. Wow, what a game that was last night. Just don't bet against the Chiefs. That's like the rule. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. They find a way to win again. And Mahomes just doesn't look great, but Rashee Rice looks great. Like Mahomes looks like one of the best quarterbacks, but he's not looking perfect. And that's just scary for everybody else because they're 3-0 and the defense looks really, really good. Falcons questionable play calling there at the end. I hate the toss on 4th and 1. Like, why do you do that? Whatever. Yeah, they lose. Chiefs get the win 3-0. All right, I'll be back in the morning. And yeah, I feel like I might be. Did I miss a game? If I missed the game, I apologize. I don't know if I missed the game or not. Hopefully I didn't. But I shall dive deeper into some of the games that I didn't get to watch today. Actually, watch film like I'm the coach, and therefore I can talk more about it as the week goes on. Have a great day. If you need me, just get in touch, and see you guys in the morning.